Hello, dear students. Today it's my pleasure to present you our trainer Vivek Signwal. Hello, Vivek.
Hello.
Vivek is our trainer for two courses. One course is Node.js and the second one is React Native. Today we will discuss both of these courses. But first of all, I would like to start our discussion with the instructor's experience. How many years have you he is working in IT industry. So please, Vivek, tell our students about yourself.
Yeah, hi students. Just to brief about myself, I have been into industry from approximately 20 years. I have passed out engineering, say way back in 2003, worked for a couple of companies, including HSBC Software Development, Persistent, and many more. Since 2008 onwards, I'm actively involved into the consulting assignments. And since 2010 onwards, I have been actively engaged into the instructor and corporate trainings. I have been, done so far more than approximately 300 plus trainings. It includes companies like IBM, JP Morgan's, Bank of America, HSBC, Persistence, Infosys, Wipro, and many, many more. So I have been seen where the demands of different technologies has been changed, continuously changing, and trends have been formed. Things where it was earlier a simple web server and three-tier architectures. Now it is basically having multi-tier architecture, microservices, AI, and everything jump, and the large number of technologies which actually currently present into the system.
Thank you, Vivek. Let's start talking about Node.js. How do you think is this course popular nowadays?
So Node.js is basically one of the most sought out framework along with the runtime environment and having the Express framework. So it is one N for MERN. If you look into the MERN, which is or most of the full stack frameworks, so it has importantly handled the backend and which has frameworks like Express and others. So if I say if there are 10 new products designed and implement, then out of 10 I would say 7 of them teams are using and preferring the Node.js. It is one of the south framework which I have engaged for IBM and other companies to train their staff and new people in terms of building the capabilities where they have Node.js trained participants and employees, and huge in demand. And you can check it out, whether it is Stanford, Oxford, and all. They are making it one of the prime demand for the job as well as the courses that they are in.
According to your personal observations, what is the demand for such professionals? Is it high or rising or maybe low?
It's high and rising. If you see, JavaScript is one of the most demand language. If you go to the GitHub and see the demand in terms of number of codes of lines and new projects are uh, registered, the JavaScript registration is much higher, and number of lines of code, it is way higher, 3-4 times. And out of these 70% of these are coming from the Node and React alone.
Mm-hmm. And let's now talk in more details about the course, which is Node.js. What topics will be covered and what practical exercises will it include?
So in Node.js, we will be basically take the we our expectation is that participants is having some basic understanding with JavaScript and having some exposure to programming with for loops, if else, and understanding with the OOPS concepts. So we will be starting our course is basically targeting the participants who are 0 to 2 years experience, preferably from engineering background and programming background, and they would like to build their career into JavaScript and the backend. So we are targeting where we are briefing them with the OOPS concept of JavaScript, getting them event-oriented factors with the Node.js, getting them, having simple program with web server, having the web server implementation with Express.js, integration with this, with different databases, installation and submitting it with the microservices and architecture with AWS and cloud systems, having access to databases, MongoDB, MySQL, SQLize, and doing the integration with the client side, can having a REST APIs with for the consumption of React and other clients applications. So we'll be covering it in a whole sort of requirements. If you have done this course, you can expect that you will be doing hands-on day by day process with creating a one application from ground zero to a ground where you have integration with the databases like MySQL, MongoDB, and able to do it and submit it to the cloud architecture as well as a microservice.
Can you share your screen and show some examples of maybe some environment or tools which are connected with Node.js?
Yeah, sure. So I'm just sharing you this screen. This application is basically a hello world application we have created. The GUI is basically on EJS, one of the frameworks along with the Express.js, where we have created a simple application dashboard, customer, products, and we have add, update, delete, search operation, and this is all basically having and hitting to the databases, and having about log out these screens we are creating. This is one of starting point for building a web application around it. It is configured with the local machine, and this data is all coming from the SQL. Similarly, our whole implementation will include where the data is coming from the third party libraries, or it is coming from the sources like MongoDB and DynamoDB. Likewise, we started with a very brief hello world example where it is like in the beginning one screen having a route, having integrations, and doing it with the simple implementation with events and having with the Express. So now if I'm showing you the code, this is the code we have for like this application. Not this. Simple Express. It includes some routes with APIs, get, post, having the services separately created to design to integrate with MySQL databases, and having the views with EJS done, add things, and making another big application out of this, which we will assign as a part of our project assignments to the students.
So will students have access to this environment, to these labs after the end of the course?
Yeah, so we will be providing a study material and some projects, which is basically part of our classroom, some additional projects which they will be able to refer and build a full end-to-end application by themselves. This will be available to them.
Good. How would you define the prerequisites for this course? What skills potential student should already have in order to get the most from this course?
We expect students should be preferably, they must be from computer science background or engineering background. They have some good exposure to programming. They should have done it in their curriculum, preferably if they are already familiar with the languages like C, C++, or Java, or they have familiar with if and else condition. OOPS concept they should be familiar with, like having the classes, having the objects, and having certain understanding in terms of the syntax and all, and preferably good to have if they have web development. The right candidates who are doing good and joining, they are the one who have usually 0 to 4 or 5 years of experience, and they are having good exposure to old languages, and they are some understanding with C, C++, Java, or .NET, or they have some hands-on done in these languages, or they have been into the curriculum, they have into engineering, they have themselves done some programming, and they are ready to learn these technologies, and then they can scout for a new jobs and opportunities.
From your personal point of view, what are the core benefits that students get from this course?
See, this the IT industry as such is keep changing, and learning is a important factor of it. Having said, when I was in the college, the internet was not very popular. Like, it was the beginning of internet, and we were getting internet at our universities and all level. We just exposed to the web and all. And in our colleges we started more, the programming languages are C++, Fortran. When I come out of the college, the changes in happening, and it is basically Java which become super popular, and it is the sun certification and number of things which is around Java. And so by the time I have built my initial career, it is more into the Java, and then I will engage with C++, Intel compilers for their team. And over the period, things changes, and scripting become very popular. And now, if you see the trend, it is more towards the scripting. And JavaScript and Python, and JavaScript mostly into the GUI and mobile languages, and backend with the Node is now very much there. So if you have the understanding with Node and JavaScript, there is a huge opportunities. The average salaries that is sought out in US and other markets is more than $1,000 per year that they are offering, and there are candidates who are not available to have those skills with them. It is not so in US, it is happening with Europe, and the things are very much similar in India. The top skills, if you're looking into it, where the candidates are not available or they are lacking the skills or the trainings that they are looking for, is Node, React, and the AI and other skills. And if you do this, and there's definitely the chances of getting a jobs and will be much higher. I have been interacted by companies in Europe, in Asia, Singapore, and this there are many times individual participants come and they want that if I can help them to different courses for, so that they can crack the interviews and becoming a part of it. Usually their experience varies from 2 years to 15 years. Someone in 15 years, they are changing the new technology to just upgrade their skills, otherwise they will be out of the market.
What international certificate will students get after successfully passing the exam?
So there are several certifications available. In this case, we have one certification which is provided by JavaScript Academy, and we have JSN this certificate, which you can basically do it, and which can be used along with it. Usually JavaScript is open source, and the certificate which is basically asked is either you are coming from the some sources, where whether it is Udemy, whether it is basically experience and the project you have done with it, or you have project submitted from the your your on GitHub.
Mhm. Let's talk about the structure of exam. Are there multiple choice questions or something else, maybe practical based task?
There are basically the in the course curriculum, we are basically having you a project. We have assigned you the project, and we have basically asked them to commit that project and come up with the whole things. We are also offering the course and the international certified exam, which is JSNAD, which is basically Open JS Foundation Node.js Application Developer Program. This exam is basically we are offering, and if you cross this exam, which is covering some multiple choice questions, which include some programming questions, some multiple choice questions mostly, and you have to choose one. And that is what we are targeting, and if you have it, then it is basically improve your chances of getting jobs much higher.
How will this certification help them in their professional career?
This is one of the only important certificate available from the Node.js community, and there are not many people who have this certification available, and they have done it much. Let me show you what it has and what is the numbers. The numbers itself says if you have it, they will basically get your approvals by the companies like Amazon, Google, and many more who are basically offering plus points having this certification on their resume.
What job positions do you think are suitable for the specialist who just completed such kind of course?
Mostly backend developer. This is the course that we are targeting, Node.js application developer certification program. And if you crack this is coming from the Node certification, which is the site, international site, and this certificate is international. So if you crack this, then there are these are some tips and exam and instructions based on this. So this will be multiple choice questions which having the some system requirements, bandwidth and all. Once you have it, this program done, then it increases your weightage to your resume and your profile. And definitely the profile would include where you will be doing the backend programming more with Node.js, creating the microservices with cloud, and building the applications like where you have to integrate things from the databases, communicating to the client side, with whether it is mobile app or whether it is basically the web actor. This is in a web technology full stack. This is the backend of that.
Let's name some exact job positions that potential candidates can apply for.
So
after
it is
this course.
You can apply for this is Node.js backend developer, the backend full stack developer. You can apply for the jobs like senior developer in the backend and JavaScript developer. So these all are the jobs which is open and available after this course.
Mm-hmm. And what you think, what can be the next step after this course? Maybe another course, another certification?
Not required, to be honest. Once you have it and you should be ready for the to apply for various jobs available across Europe, across the globe. And if you specify that you have this certification done, and this will give a huge weightage to your international jobs also, and you should be able to grab all those opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much for talking about Node.js. It was very, I think, important and useful information that you told us. Now I propose to switch to another course, which is React Native. And tell please if this course popular nowadays.
So React Native is the mobile app development. So if you see the mobile applications we are building on phones, on iPhone and Android, so the most of the companies are preferring React Native over the native application which is on iOS, or whether it is Android. It's a common platform to build one application targeting the both Android as well as iOS. So if I have this knowledge and skill, then most likely the new development across happening with this companies, they will be looking forward these skills. So just to tell you that Facebook is the one who is the creator of React, and they are the one who is coming with their own application. The Facebook application, if you see on the mobile, is created with React Native. So there is jobs from not from the Facebook, but from the banking, from large number of industries. So React Native is one of the most popular and demanded framework into the industry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, my second question was about the demand, but as you told, demand is really high. Even we see that Facebook uses this kind of technology, which is really good, and it shows that our students should apply for this course as well. Let's talk about details about the course. For example, what topics will be covered and what practical exercises it will include.
We will go through the very basic understanding with the React, and we cover the whole React understanding in terms of the states and props, covering them to create a how to create a simple component, nested components, starting with the GUI like this. Can you see this GUI?
Yes.
So we'll have this GUI to be implemented. Then we will have some kind of a data coming. We'll have some sort of a shirts to the GUI examples coming. We have some students GUI, some settings. This we have home screen, some camera capability, some platform independence, some sort of a customer records where we are adding some customer and the GUI. So is a simple vanilla application where we are basically moving one screen to another screen and getting the uh, participants familiar with all the features around it.
So can we tell that the students during the course will be doing such kind of app that you're showing us?
Yes, so this app is basically created by students only. So I will be helping them and devise them and do one by one how it should be created. Not only this, we have created give them assignments which related to creating a full-fledged app related to a e-commerce with multiple screens, related to one application which has to do a bookstore, and one application which has to do with if some sort of a rental properties checking out under the mobile phones, which has approximately 8 to 10 screens, navigations, and having the ability for user to log in and log out and play around with the application.
Actually, most of students think that the time that they should spend on learning the course is only during the course. But the real situation is that they should spend more time besides the course. Yes, so they should read materials, learn by their own some information. Do
So,
you do you
so
give
there is
them such sources where they can get the information after the course?
so there are over the years, as my experience grows, you will get large number of source of information. So if I check over the net, I will come across that for everything, that for any course, anything, now there are huge oversupply of the material, right? We don't have the problem in terms of a knowledge, but the right knowledge is a problem, right? With how to direct it is problem. And there is another aspect, the difference between education and training. So we are talking about the training, we are not talking about the education. So training is hugely important, and there is a difference between education and training. Like if we are talking about what kind of an army you want in your country, do you want a educated army or trained army? You want trained army, right?
Yes.
Similarly, when we are talking about this course, I will be going one by one step and ask you to do it on your machine, show me your screen, be there with you, and you have to go through all the sequences of creating an app from scratch, zero to a full-fledged app. And that is what we are talking about, a training.
Thank you. Thank you. It was really useful. Uh, how can you define the prerequisites for this course?
We expect participants to be good into their programming skill. They have to be some exposure to JavaScript. They should have been done some programming with maybe languages like C, C++, Python, or Java. So if they are familiar with a decent amount of programming with any of these languages which they have been gone through in your college times, or out of that, that should be more than enough to start with this course. Usually the participants who are joining us, they are either coming from the engineering background or programming background, or if they are non-programming education, then they have been into the industry doing some programming, and they are ready to fly with the new career skills and the new technology which is emerging like this. Also, if you see this, this is like the course curriculum that we are targeting, and we are not only the one who is having such. There are many such demands, and proven by the national statistics. The national average salary of full stack developer in United States, this is a statistics coming from the United States itself, which they are offering for such skills available. And there is a large number of such pressure from the government and all side to train this. So when this is like Mongo, Express, React, Node.js, the technology that we are basically aggressively looking forward to have participants in DDVIT, is a huge demand. And this program is for the career launcher, early career professionals waiting to start a career with high growth and gain exposure to full development and having the skills. With it could be helpful for the mid and later professionals looking for to switch into the software development from another field where they are able to learn. So we are targeting people who are having passion about the programming and having the skills to learn new things and like that.
Mhm. If we are, for example, we are asked to tell in years about the experience, about the previous experience, how many years of previous experience should one potential student have?
So if they are coming from engineering background with programming exposure in their college days, then probably fresher can do. If they don't have the experience in terms of the programming at all, then it will be a problem. But if anyone usually non engineering with a some exposure to it, say in a span of 6 months to 1 year, is the right candidate to opt for it.
Mhm. From your personal point of view, what are the core benefits from this course?
Huge job offers in terms of the companies and the development all across, and the projected numbers, as you see the worldwide population of professional developers by increase in 4.8 million from this, and the demand is basically this much is the demand that they are looking forward. There's a huge gap in terms of the implementation and the requirement to automation and the new things, which is integration in terms of the mobile app with a lot of application the backend. So if you have those skills, not from the job perspective, if you have freelance and number of courses, if you have been engaged, there is a sure shot demand that you can fill up into the market and be proved as a successful professional.
What about certification? Is there any certification?
It is coming from the Facebook, and the Facebook has implemented this all technology into their own application, and they are not actively looking for where they can their own sort of an exam where they can put it. Not many as such standard things provided by Facebook to do such exams, but there are open community and Udemy and Simply Learn and many platforms are there who is basically offering some sort of a certification which you can opt for, and along with our course and the certification from us to prove that you have the skilled, and then obviously once you get interviewed, you should have the skills in terms of what you have learned over the training and examples and knowledge, and which could be proved very helpful to you.
Mhm. So the main like proof that you have possess such experience and knowledge is that is your project, it's your app that you did, right?
Sorry, can you repeat?
I mean about the certification. You told that there is not such certification. Yes.
There is no such certification coming from the Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
because they believe that it is an open source, everybody can learn them, everybody can do it, so they are not operating in that space of certification. But there are third party companies like Udemy and like Simply Learn and the other platforms where you can go and select this course and you can certify it,
Mm-hmm.
and you can get it from the institutes like us who can provide certification and confirmation that you have the skill with you.
Mm-hmm. And what this exam includes? Is it as well multiple choice or some
It's a
practical?
multiple choice questions. It is a multiple choice questions. They are asking with different views with React and React Native.
Mhm. And how do you think this certification will help students in their professional career?
It it definitely helps them to get their resume selected in the first shot rather than having been not called by the employers. And once you have that level of confidence and receive, then it is definitely a lot to be achieved later on.
Mhm. What job positions are suitable for such kind of specialist?
Mostly mobile app developers and mobile app development in charge. So uh, mostly in mobile app development, out of three, one job is basically for React Native developer. So that is a huge demand.
Mhm. Can you share your story when you were in the beginning of your career, how such learning and certification helped you to grow up?
See, in the beginning of my career, I have been the technologies on those days are popular are Microsoft architectures and MFC, Microsoft Foundation classes. I have been certified with some Microsoft technologies, and then we have Java, which become popular and got certified into the Java, and become easily got initial uh, calls for the vacancies which are into that industry. And the it really helps me in the beginning selection, which I selected for HSBC Software Development Center based out in Pune, which they are looking for someone who can build their product into the Java. And later on, obviously, I have been involved with the companies like Intel and all. So the certification increases our chances 10 times to be called by the companies who are looking for those skills.
How do you think what can be the next step for students after they take this course?
They should improve their resume and profile, building the keywords and building it that they have done this course. Plus they have aware of the React, they are aware of the React Native, and they have created one application, put the GitHub link which they have created during the course examinations, and put that they have the skills ready, and they will be able to easily get nominated or basically selected their resume for the interview calls.
Thank you very much, Vivek, for taking time to join us today to tell more about yourself and more details about your courses. It was really interesting and useful for our students, and I hope this interview will help them to make a final decision whether to apply or not. And see you again in our
Thank
courses.
you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. Thank you. Have a nice
Bye
day.
bye.
Bye.